Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Zeta and today we're going to be doing a video on a build for the wizard on hardcore. This is a level 60 hardcore build, but it's not your typical build. This is a support build. This is made to run with full groups and to make everything easier, not just for you, but for them. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Go to our skills here. First things first, primary attack. Electrocute. I run the Electrocute with Surge of Power. I gain 1 arcane power for every enemy hit, which is really nice. You get into big groups because that is the cornerstone of what we're doing. We have to keep that arcane power up to for this build to work. The Disintegrate is, well, it's really for to keep things off of you when they get a little too close. That is your primary DPS whenever you get into a crappy situation and you need to just melt things really quickly, which is what Disintegrate's good for. You know, you're doing 220% weapon damage as arcane and disintegrating your enemies. Also, I run the Chaos Nexus rune so that, you know, if there's multiple enemies on me, I don't have to worry about, oh, are they in a straight line? Because the beams will actually split off and hit them. It only does it does less than half of your damage, but that less than half usually is enough, especially if you have high crit chance. Diamond Skin, you know, every single character on hardcore needs an oh shit button, something you can hit to make sure that whenever something gets a little too close or you get sucked in and they have arcane balls or something and you're like, oh no, and you just smash that button real quick and you have just that little bit of breathing room to take off running. I've lost a couple hardcore characters now because I have not run an oh shit rune or an oh shit button, because this is Diamond Skin is, you know, the biggest oh shit button you can have. Energy armor, you can choose not to run armors if you want. I prefer to because in hardcore I personally believe that your defense and all of your resistances are your greatest assets. You know, your attack is nice because you can kill things faster, but we actually have a tank in our group who does less than 200k damage on Master 3, but won't die. Like he has such high health regen and such high resistance as his armor that he can stand in the middle of just the most badass elite groups and just take all the damage. And as long as he can keep swinging his weapon, he's good to go. So I run energy armor. It is an absolutely great one. It reduces your arcane power, but with this build, it's not that big of a deal. Magic weapon, again, that's a preference. You can not run magic weapon. You can literally run anything else. I see a lot of people running the familiar with the rune spark flint, which is the first one that increases your damage. This one increases it by 10%. I think spark flint increases it by like 15% or something like that. But I like the runes on this better because magic weapon, the entire purpose of magic weapon is to make you do more damage. I run blood magic because that extra 1.5 damage causes life is really nice, especially when you get into shitty situations. And now this is the biggest part of the build, Blizzard. Blizzard is awesome. You know, everybody knows that, you know, Blizzard was awesome in Diablo 2. It's going to be awesome now. 510% weapon damage over 6 seconds. Multiple casts do not stack. That's really important to remember. So if you're gonna, you can spam Blizzard, but you have to remember you have to spam it in different areas and not just keep hitting the same person over and over and over again. Because the only thing you're doing is increasing the chance that they can get frozen, which is nice. But yes, I run the rune Frozen Solid, 20% chance to be frozen over 3 seconds. So half the time, whenever you're running this, you know, you can spam it and they can get frozen, and that's what you're looking for. You're wanting to throw this down as many times as possible so you can freeze them, because when you freeze them is where my passives come into it. All damage dealt to chilled and frozen targets is increased by 20%. I run with 2 barbs and a monk. Now the one barb is there to tank. The monk is straight DPS, and the other barb, you know, can move in between doing whatever he or she needs to do. when I have three melee characters and I'm the only range character, my job isn't particularly DPS because they have all the enemies on them. My job is to help them out to make sure they don't die. And by doing that, I'm throwing down Blizzard. Blizzard costs 40 arcane power. You can't spam it more than 2 or 3 times at a time without running out of arcane power. But that's where the Electrocute comes in. You can keep hitting them. Yeah, you can hit the Blizzard 2 or 3 times, throw the Electrocute out, hit a couple enemies 2 or 3 times, throw down the Blizzard more, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you'll never run out of arcane power as long as you're keeping an eye on it. And then of course, you still have your disintegrate. So if things get, bypass them and get a little too close to you, you can still melt them if you need to. My other two passives, yeah, it's just personal preference. A lot of people, they like to run the critical mass build and stuff like that. I'm not too big into it. I'm a team player. I like to go, I'm not running a demon hunter or a witch doctor trying to DPS. And I could turn at any point. I could turn this wizard into an awesome DPS running that infinite critical mass build, and I choose not to, again because I'm a team player. But galvanizing ward increases the length of my energy armor and gives me life per second for running it. Always great. And blur, first one you get, but it's the most important. Take your melee damage and increase it by 20%, which is amazing because getting hit as a wizard sucks. Now, the Electrocute is nice and it does give you arcane power, but it can only hit 3 people at a time. The lightning can jump, hitting 2 additional enemies. So that's 3 arcane power every time you hit your primary button. However, you need to be looking for something like this. Now, I got really lucky on this drop, and I love it. It's not really that it's a Taurasha piece, but if you read, it has critical hits grant 10 arcane power. Now, anybody who knows anything about higher levels, it's all about your crit chance and your crit damage, because the weapon damage, kind of peters out around, 17, 18, 1900. So you can't really, you can do all you want and you could drop all the gems you want into your weapons, but at the end of the day, it's going to be about your crit hit chance and your crit hit damage. So by making it so, by using this offhand, for every critical hit I get 10 arcane power. And with a critical hit chance of 62.5, I'm critting more than half the time. So the entire purpose of this build, if you can find a piece like this, if not, you can make do with the Electrocute. But with the combination of the two, it is just ungodly, because you keep throwing out the Blizzard. That's all you have to do. You keep throwing out the Blizzard to help your friends. This support build will go a long way in helping everybody out. You can run through, you could take this guy right here by himself with a bunch of guys who can, my character can currently run Master 3, sometimes Master 4 if we're geared up right. But if I can take this wizard into a Master 1 lobby and convince people to come into a Master 2 lobby, because I can freeze and slow people down so much that my teammates have a chance to get in there and do all the damage that they need to do. Not to mention they're doing 20% more every time I freeze them, and that 20% chance is increased by the fact that I can keep throwing it out and throwing it out and throwing it out. I hope you guys have taken some enjoyment out of watching this. I don't know if this is the only support build. I haven't really looked, but I thought I would share it. I like this build a lot. It's what I've been using for about a month now, and it's working out really great. If you liked it, leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. I'm always up for creative criticism, so please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about it. My name is Zeta. Thanks for watching the video. I love you guys, and bye-bye.